Hey family, super excited to be on with you today. Just in part four of a hot series that we've been doing, and it's all about the truth about fat loss. If you haven't seen the first three, you got to go back and see them on my YouTube. But yeah, man, just welcoming you guys back to a really important conversation, particularly for people who have really been plagued by fat loss, right? People who have been experiencing challenge, trying to get your wellness and fitness journey together. You might be feeling down, you might be feeling upset, you might be feeling frustrated. You may even have secluded into a corner, right, where you're trying your best to kind of keep up, but you're having trouble keeping up. Well, I'm just knocking on that proverbial door and inviting you to tap in, man. The truth about why fat loss is so hard for you. I want to speak directly to you. I don't want you to look at nobody else's fat loss journey. I want you to look at your own. And if you hear me and hear me clearly, you'll get some kind of explanation about why you are where you are. And you'll also get some opportunity to kind of really tap in and take your own individual step, man. I want to encourage you and remind you that fat loss journeys are customized to the individual, and fat shows up in people's lives differently. There is no one size fits all fat loss solution, but I am sure that you can absolutely get a solution if you seek one. I gotta pause and make sure that I'm still talking to people who know you can find a solution. You believe that there is a solution. You are sure that there is a solution. This is bigger than fat loss, just in your mind. If you lose the belief that things can change, the mountain becomes impossible to move. If you lose the belief that things can be different, all that I am saying to you will go out the window. If you lose the belief that things will actually be impactful for you, then this is falling on deaf ears. And honestly, don't waste your time if your belief is out of the way. We can start there if you want. But I want to encourage you to tune in and tap in, say hello, introduce yourself. I am absolutely watching the comments. I am keeping up. I do respond myself. And so let me go ahead and dive right in. I do not have a lot of time, but I've written some things down and I want to be sure that I get them to you, right? Some people, maybe even me, make fat loss look easy, right? Make meal prep look like it's something that is joyful all the time, right? Like some people make this thing look like it doesn't require effort, look like it doesn't demand sacrifice, right? They do perfect workouts because that's all that they show. You know, they take daily selfies and, you know, that's their story. You look at that, but that's not your story. It's for you. It's a mental fight. It's emotional struggle every single day. If that's you, I need you to show yourself in the chat. You never know who's going to be watching this. If it's you're in a mental fight like every single time, right? You look in the mirror, you be having challenges, and it just gets to your head every time, right? Every single day. I dare you, if it's you, to type every single day. It is for me too. If fat loss feels harder for you than others, you are not broken. There's not anything that's wrong with you. You're not weak, right? For those of you who got pride, there's not anything wrong with you. And you're definitely not lazy. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and give you the get it together talk and curse you out like other people who've achieved results probably do. I just want to talk to you, right? Uh, I understand that sometimes people come to fat loss carrying more than just fat loss, right? They come to fat loss carrying a lot of emotional weight, a lot of past attempts, a lot of things that are still on your head, right? Just carrying stuff. And I want to acknowledge, if you can hear me, let me know you can hear me, and let me know that I'm talking to you when I say sometimes you're carrying more than that. Some of you guys live really sophisticated lives. Hey, what's up? Sometimes you are dealing with more than you've been able to say. Sometimes if people understood what it just took for you to wake up and look at this screen, to get your pad and start taking notes, to take deep breaths through each part of the day, if people only knew what it took to live the life that you have been assigned to deal with the things that you deal with, to work at the place that you work at, to parent the children that you've been privileged to parent, to embrace some of the limitations that you embrace, to face some of the demand that is on your time. If they only knew, and a lot of times they don't, you're just carrying more. If it's you, say it's me. Now, today I want to break down why maybe fat loss might be harder for you, right? And how to stop blaming yourself for a fight you never trained to win. We got to stop this blame game. Stop blaming yourself for a fight you were never trained to win. Can we start with mental weight? Before I do that, come on, take a deep breath. Come on, take a deep breath with me. Come on. Come on, breathe in all of that past. Exhale into the future. Breathe in all of that anxiety. Exhale with hope and positivity. Come on, let's get rid of some of that weight right at the top. I can see your shoulders carrying it. I can feel that you needed a moment to pause. I want to sit with you in that for a second. Let's feel lighter before I start dropping these reasons, because you need that sometimes. But let's start with acknowledging one of the first reasons, right? And the deep breathing kind of gets at it, but not really. And that is, sometimes you are carrying mental weight, or your brain is literally in survival mode. Somebody put survival mode into the chat. Your body isn't fighting fat. It's fighting to feel safe. And what if I told you that your fat loss journey sometimes encounters a safety obstacle, to where the journey just doesn't feel safe for you? Like, you can't focus in and fight fat if you feel like you are in danger. And most people are just trying to avoid the danger of fat loss in your head. So if you've ever dealt with, come on, write this down. If you ever dealt with chronic stress, you ever dealt with trauma, you ever dealt with anxiety, your nervous system is involved in this effort too. Why? Because it is required, it is wired, it is designed. Your nervous system is wired, it is required, it is designed to protect, not perform. Okay, that includes holding on to fat. Like, sometimes your body holds on to things to protect itself. So before your body will change, it will need to feel safe, right? Safety is your obstacle. Safety is your challenge. Safety is the thing that is really, really difficult for you. So what do you want to do? You want to take steps to regulate your nervous system by chasing extreme deficits. No, I didn't say that right. You want to regulate your nervous system before chasing extreme deficits. Like, before you go after a significant weight loss goal, you want to check in on your nervous system. When is the last time that you checked in on your nervous system to see if it's okay? Come on, put in the chat, nervous system. Like, your body is such a complicated and important thing, man. And I really want you to get this, right? Stop blaming yourself. Your nervous system is involved. How do you know your nervous system is involved? When you're consistently and constantly anxious and burned out. I dare you to put a raised hand emoji in the chat if you've ever been consistently burned out or consistently anxious. It's hard to fight fat because your body is going to hold on to it if you're always anxious and you feel burned out. You feel burned out. And here is why you really, really want to take advantage of it. And it's because stress hormones block progress. I'm telling you, when your brain is in survival mode, it's hard to fight fat. If your brain is in survival mode, you need to check your nervous system. You need to check your nervous system if you're consistently anxious and you're consistently burned out. Like, how do you get your body to respond well if all of this is happening? And here is the major reason why. Because there may be something at the hormonal level blocking your progress that you do not know about, and it starts in your head. And that will be an obstacle to you no matter how hard you train. And this is something that we want to take time to take a look at. And I encourage you to take me very, very seriously when I say that I would love to work with you to be able to be responsive to that, man. And so that's part of why I keep on keeping this door open. You are one conversation away from getting to the results, getting the progress, starting the journey in a healthy way. You are one conversation away. But let me get to the second reason. And it might be taking you a little deeper. It is because you tie your worth to your weight. These two W's are obstacles for you, that you tie your worth to your weight. Has anybody ever felt less valuable because of your weight? Your weight is the challenge for you, right? You get on the scale. Come on, if it's you, come on, be honest with me now. Sometimes you tie your weight, right, to your worth. Like you feel worth more when your weight is in order. That number, understanding that number. Like sometimes you dress up, get your hair done, you get all of your features taken care of, and you feel confident, and you do not want to even look at the number that tells you your weight, because it is going to impact the way you feel about your worth. You don't hate your body. You hate what you think it says about you, though. Come on, talk to me. Because sometimes you feel like your body is saying something about you, that your body itself sends a message. You don't hate it, but you don't like the message that it sends. When weight becomes identity, every fluctuation feels like failure. You should write that down. Because weight should not become your identity. Just like a great songwriter and singer and performer and communicator once said, I am not my hair. I want to say to you, you are not your weight. You are not your weight. That is not your identity. Do not start there, because that will be one of the main obstacles and the truth, and it will reveal a truth about why weight loss is so hard for you, because somehow weight and fat has become a part of your identity, and this fluctuating thing feels like failure. It is not. If the number on the scale determines your mood, if the number on the scale determines your confidence, if the number on the scale dictates how you talk to yourself, just like some people look at the number in their bank account and it determines their mood. Look at the number in their bank account and it determines their confidence. And look at the number in their bank account and it determines how they talk to themselves. You are no longer on the right path. You hear me? If it determines your confidence and your mood and your self-talk, you're no longer on a fat loss journey. You're in an emotional war. You don't need to lose weight to feel worthy. Come on, talk to me. You don't need to feel weight. You don't need to lose weight to feel worthy. You need to separate who you are from what you weigh. Come on, we're going to make that adjustment right now. I am not my weight. It's time to separate, right? So here's what your task is. You want to rebuild your identity without the scale. I want to help you so bad. I want to help you so bad. I want to help you so bad. Just meet with me. Come on, talk to me. Come on, come on. We want to rebuild your identity without the scale, right? And we want to do that before you get on the scale again. You may be thinking to yourself, I don't even know my weight. Don't get on it until we look at your identity, man, because the scale can measure mass, but the scale cannot measure value. You hear me? And so, I'm trying to get to that script in your head. We're trying to do some rewriting, and I'm excited to really get with you here. What I'm supposed to be going over, I get lost in this, man, because I really do. I feel like somebody watches this and they find themselves in a space where they're trying to figure out what it is that is happening. They're trying to process a lot and they just really need to have a conversation. And I just want to be able to do that with you. So this next one is really personal to me, and I want to make sure that you hear what I'm saying. This next one is really personal to me. um, have you ever ate in shame? Have you ever sat down to consume food and instantly were visited by shame? Like you have taken a look at yourself in the mirror and you're making eating decisions and you feel shame when you sit down to execute those decisions. Well, sometimes that becomes learned behavior. And one of the reasons why fat loss might be really hard for you is because you have mastered eating in shame. I really, 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 really know what you're talking about. I remember I used to envision myself because as somebody whose body doesn't respond well to spicy foods, I used to sit down and eat, and sometimes the food would be spicy. And I'm not talking about the fact that my tongue would be burning. I'm not talking about the fact that my lips would be burning. But what would happen is my body would begin to sweat, and I would have sweat over my top lip and sweat over my nose and sweat on my cheeks. And here I am sometimes biting into a nice, warm, well, actually hot, spicy piece of chicken, and I'm sweating and I'm eating at the same time. And I would remember feeling shameful about that. That's connected to my inability to eat spicy foods. Yours might be connected to eating sweets and eating sugar. They sometimes put it on TV. But when a person is emotionally eating, they will bear hug that good old tub of ice cream and they'll have a sad look on their face and they just be eating in shame. Eating in shame has never been you, where you have learned how to eat in shame. And your challenge is you're trying to learn how to eat without shame, but nobody ever taught you how to do it. If food equals guilt, your diet will always equal failure. Put it on a shirt. If food equals guilt, then your diet will always equal failure. So you've been told food is either good or bad. That language is harmful to you while you're eating. The eating clean thing equates to now you're on the right track for some reason. And so then if eating clean means that you're on the right track, then getting off track for one reason or another means you blew it all. It's just a catastrophic mistake, right? Shame can be toxic. Okay. Shame can be toxic. This is so much bigger than food. I'm trying to help you. Shame can operate like fuel sometimes. And so sometimes shame is fuel that's not good for you. Like you try to shame yourself into a decision, but it burns out fast. Do you understand? Like shame cannot sustain itself. So you don't need to be more strict or harder. You need to heal deeper, right? There's a lot of people who still suffer from the shame. You just have to really rewire your beliefs, man, right? If you're dealing with guilt, that's something that we have to do. And this is very important that you do it. You may be asking why. Because sustainable fat loss only happens when sustainable habits arrive. So if you want sustainable fat loss, you have to have sustainable habits. And it is difficult when you are maintaining the habit of eating shamefully. We got to teach you how to do that. And so how do we rebuild your relationship with these shameful extremes that have kept you for a long time? I've got to move on. I can sit there all day. I can say, hey, sign up for a call right now. Let's really deal with, let's confess, let's wrestle with, let's communicate, let's acknowledge where shame has played a really harmful role in your life. All right. Let's really deal with that because I don't want you to have to face that. All right. So the fourth reason is, and remember, we're dealing with the reasons why fat loss feels so hard for you. The fourth reason is that you've normalized quitting. Now, you might be watching this and you may have quit before. So let me give you something that you may want to pay attention to. If you've ever quit before, and there are a lot of people who quit their fat loss journey, if you always quit, your brain starts expecting it. You're welcome. If you always quit, your brain starts expecting it. Like you start and your brain expects you to quit. And so now it is harder for you because you've trained your brain in the muscle of quitting. You started and stopped so many times. Your brain doesn't even take you seriously anymore. You say, this time is going to be different, but your habits say otherwise. This is no longer about willpower. It is about pushing past a habit that you've developed over the year. And what you have to do is give your brain proof. I dare you to type into the chat, I'm going to prove it this time. You just have to prove it to your brain enough for it to expect to win. And there's some of us who are in the fitness journey and we've started it and we expect to win. You have to build the trust with yourself again. One win at a time will prove to your brain that you're not a quitter, will prove to your brain that you can get it done, will prove to your brain that you will see progress. It'll give you all of this evidence that eventually your brain has to respond. So I want you to know that the pathway to make fat loss easier for you, here it is to stack wins. Small, daily, deliberate wins. Just stack them. And when you look back over time, you will discover those wins were helpful to you. You can actually start stacking today. And if you really, really are good at, you got a good memory, you can go back and translate some of the ways you think about your past into some wins. You can't overhaul without stacking. You can't change without stacking. Just give yourself enough time to stack enough victories so that you can get to where you need to go. And this is important because momentum doesn't start with massive change. I remember watching the Strongest Man competition, and they had this competition where they had to push a car, they had to pull an airplane, and one of the keys to their success was building momentum. So they pulled and yanked and yanked and yanked until the big device, the big thing on wheels started moving. And once that thing started moving, you couldn't slow it down. Momentum doesn't start with massive change. It starts with a slow roll, and it starts with a promise kept. It starts with a valiant effort given. And you must understand that those small efforts given do add up. All right. And I want you to receive that. The last one, it's hard to admit, but you carry weight and it has nothing to do with food. So you're trying to achieve fat loss and your obstacles are not about fat loss. Okay. You're carrying the weight that has nothing to do with food. Like, not all weight is physical, and you need to understand that. You're not overeating. You're not overfeeling. You're not overeating, you're overfeeling. I'm telling you, this emotional thing will get you locked up. It'll cause you to feel incarcerated to your own progress if you're not careful. Sometimes you're not overeating, you're overfeeling, right? Sometimes weight is not the issue. It could be heartbreak. It could be disappointment. It could be disaster. It could be trauma. It could be betrayal. right? It could be pressure, it could be expectations, it could be silence, it could be fear, it could be shame. You're not using food to numb what no one ever helped you name. You understand? Right? You are using food to help you numb what no one has ever given you the language to name. And so now it's food for everything until it gets addressed. And then fat loss will be the outcome once we give you language. You understand? To be able to address that this is not a food fight, it is a feeling fight. So do yourself a favor. If you have hesitated, you may need to complement your fat loss journey with emotional health pursuit, right? And process that either during or before you get to that physical decision. You can do it in order. I would say, hey, hit the emotional first and then get to the physical. But some people are using the physical to deal with emotional and they hit the wall, and you will eventually hit that wall. We want to help you to overcome it. So if you're without words to explain your journey, it could be at the emotional level. And we want to have some conversation about that. That's pretty much all that I have today, right? These are the 5 reasons why fat loss might be harder for you, right? Your brain is in survival mode, right? You tie your worth to your weight. You never learned how to eat without shame. You've normalized quitting, and maybe you're carrying weight that has nothing to do with food. And so fat loss isn't harder for you because you're weaker. You're a very strong person. It's harder for you because you're fighting longer and feeling deeper and carrying more, which we acknowledge, but you do not have to stay there. You're done blaming yourself, man. You should say, this is the last day I'm gonna blame myself. I'm gonna take some action. I'm ready to start my journey and start my healing. If any of that is true, I got you, man. Just do me a favor, leave some comments. We'd love to rock with you, man. But fat loss isn't about perfection. It's about learning how to fight differently, right? And we got tools to help you to do that, man. Thank you. I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I hope that this has been valuable to you, man. Do me a favor. If this resonated with you, leave something in the comments. Go ahead and drop some comments. Share, subscribe. We go live regularly. I look forward to seeing you soon.